In this video, I want to cover the new effects or animation effects that are really in most of the animations. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. Animation Designer, Image Animation. I'm inside of Nothing Fancy right now, and what I'm referring to is these effects right here, in or out. Now, previously we had a bunch of options that didn't have any settings. You couldn't control them. They were what they were, and that was it. And so sometimes they were great, and sometimes they weren't. So what we wanted to do is give you more control. So you can see here that I've started off with an animation. Of course, I want to make sure I have the font and all that good stuff. But when I'm ready, you'll recognize we had these options before. They're now in tabs, one for in and one for out. And the effects I'm talking about are here. And again, this applies for all the animations that have something like this. So you can see right now I have back. Some people might call this overshoot. We're going with the names that are actually built into the code set. So that's what they are. And so you see that I have back and I have some optional settings right here. I actually clicked on that to close it. But you can see here that I can basically specify whether or not the effect is going to be at the beginning or the end. When I'm doing end, it's probably, I want it to be at the end. And then I have these strength controls. Now this is something that we didn't have before. And this basically allows me to set how much that effect is going to be. So if I play this animation, I'm going to apply. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do with this is when it applies, it kind of is too fast. You're going to want to rewind and play it again. So this is a great opportunity to really get used to the keyboard shortcuts. And so Command or Control less than sign will rewind, and the spacebar will play. And that'll allow you to kind of be faster. Spacebar and play. When you're testing, it allows you to kind of make some changes. Check it out. Make sure you like it. And do it really fast. And so if I was to come over here and make a change to this and apply a 1, I applied those settings. I'm pausing, rewind, and play. And you can see that basically it made that effect more weak. It didn't, less exaggerated, if you will. Let's do something like 4, and I'll apply that again. You can see it's from 0.5 to 10. So I'm going to apply those settings. I'm going to pause, rewind, and play again. You can see now it's really exaggerated. And so that's what this control lets you do. And by the way, sometimes, especially for Animation Designer, when the paths are longer or shorter, that's really where we kind of wanted to give you the control so that you can get a nice effect depending on those line durations or lengths, if you will. So that's basically every one of these has different effects. So you can see that on the in effect or the elastic, I have a couple different ones. I have pretty much found that for myself, this one is really the one that has really the control. I don't see a ton. This is really subtle, so you're probably going to spend most of your time using that effect. But really, you're going to want to just check these out. You can see that it bounces a little bit much for me, and I'm going to go down to like 0.5 and apply that. And then I get effect kind of much more like I like. And so that allows you to kind of get the amount of effect that you want for any one of these animations. Now, last point I want to make is some of these are really very similar, like slow motion, speed change, and power have a very similar effect. And so slow motion, we know it's currently, as I record this, we know we have some work to do on it. And some of these eases, these are called eases or effects, are in here because they were supported in older versions of our program. And so that's why, for example, you have several of these that seem like they're the same thing or very, very similar. The stepped is something new. It's kind of fun. We thought it kind of has a kind of a rotoscope, or not a rotoscope, like a stop action kind of effect, and so we included that. The kind of the more standard ones are these three. The bounce is probably one of the funnest, and we've introduced that, but let me go ahead and do that. Now you can see here that it's set aside, and since I'm having it come from the top, I'm going to want it to set that side to the bottom. And let's just apply that one. We'll go ahead and pause and rewind and get a good play of that. And so you can see here that I can adjust that strength if I want to make it a little more subtle, and then we'll do that rewind and play again. You can see it's got a nice squish and everything, really, really fun. So these are gonna be effects I think that you really, really enjoy, and they're really cool, and you can control them now. So just bear in mind, like I say, one of my favorite things to utilize with this is the keyboard shortcuts. So do get in the habit of using those, and that'll make making little adjustments and testing them out really, really something that's fun instead of annoying. So I hope you have a good time with these features.